Hello and welcome to another Seismic Cinema podcast. This is our third ranking video, second since we made it an official weekly thing. And I'm joined once again by Mr. Paul.
Hello there. How are you?
Stop plagiarizing Kenobi there. Right, so this week's ranking was actually chosen by Paul. So, Paul, could you introduce to our listeners and viewers what we're going to be ranking in this podcast?
Yes, well, I thought after last week, you picking the wonderful wizarding world of Harry Potter, I thought we'd go into a bit of a darker place. So I've chosen the top 10 villains in movies, according to ourselves.
Why is Paul always taking us down a dark path?
I don't know. I don't know if that says more about me than anything else. I empathise with them. I seem to be rooting for the bad guys more than I do the good guys in these movies.
Yeah. So it's all movies, no TV shows, and we can literally choose anyone, and I think there will be some interesting picks here, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we compare.
Yes. Who wants to start?
I think you should go first.
Right, okay. Rolling in.
We'll rotate. Well, you go first, then I'll go first, and we'll flip it that way.
All right, you can keep me right with that one then.
Right, you go first this time then.
Okay, so rolling at number 10 is probably Die Hard's most iconic bad guy, Mr. Hans Gruber, which is played.
I've never seen Die Hard.
How can you be a cinema reviewer and you've never seen Die Hard?
It's on my list. It's on my list.
Right, so you need to get that watched, especially at Christmas time. It's a Christmas movie,
Yeah,
so
I know. I hear about it every Christmas.
yeah. So you need to watch that. So Hans Gruber, who is played by
Alan Rickman.
your man, Alan Rickman,
Yeah,
aka
I knew he was played by Alan Rickman. I just haven't seen the film.
yeah, aka Snape. Yeah. So you've not seen the movie, so I won't spoil it for you. But
yeah.
He plays the main kind of terrorist, trying to take over the Nakatomi Plaza, and I find his character just very, very charming, very charismatic. But he's also just a real bad guy at heart. Does a lot of questionable things.
That really just sounds like Snape you're describing.
He's not quite got the lovely dyed black hair, but yeah, I find his character really good throughout, and he kind of there's a couple of times when he plays the victim and stuff like that, and you don't know which way it's going to go. But yeah, I would say he's in my top 10 probably most memorable villains.
Well, he literally is in your top 10 because you just mentioned him. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
I'm sorry.
Right, my number 10 is an interesting one, and I don't quite know how you'll take this. It's not really maybe a classic villain, but his character, his actions, and how he behaves and how he treats other people could be considered villainous. Would that be acceptable, Paul?
I don't know. I'm going to have to hear the name first, and then I'll make.
I've went for Mr. Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street.
Nope, pick another one.
Oh, you can't just tell me to pick other ones. You said there was a blank canvas. I just think to me, it's DiCaprio's best film. He's an amazing character, but he's not a nice guy, is he? Some of the stuff he does and says and the way he treats people, I would consider that quite villainous. And I thought it was just a wee outside one that maybe people wouldn't have thought of.
No, I'll give you that. It's a bit of a curveball to start off with, so I'm quite interested to see what the rest of your list is going to be like.
I just thought that was quite a good idea because, like, it's not. You gave me the idea actually when you spoke about the guy from the internship, and I was like, oh, let's think of people that are just maybe not the best people that could be because he is the villain of the story, isn't he? Really,
or to most people, a hero.
Yeah. DiCaprio's best film, though, by far. Yeah. Right. So number 9. And I actually spent a bit of time looking at different websites and looking for ideas, etc. I went for one that you'll probably laugh at, but I think is quite an evil character and committed a terrible act and is pretty infamous for said act. I went for Scar from The Lion King.
Oh, is this the way your list is going? Is it?
Not completely, but Scar is a villain. Scar did some horrible things.
Bonus point for who voiced them.
Scar. I probably should know this, but who is it?
Jeremy Irons.
Okay. So I bet you didn't see Scar coming, Paul, did you?
Not really. I thought you.
That's an iconic cinema moment, though, when he knocks Mufasa off the cliff.
Yeah, that is okay. I'll let you have it. It is villainous. It's actually in a board game called Villainous as well. So
okay. So who's your number 9?
My number 9 is the Joker from The Dark Knight, played by Heath Ledger.
Okay. Not the one from the film The Joker.
You know what? I didn't actually like that film. Like,
did you not?
Not at all. I just found it really. I didn't like. I think maybe the hype before it got to me, and then I was expecting so much, it just didn't live up to it. But yeah,
I can kind of see what you mean. But yeah, Heath Ledger's Joker is a great character. Again, rest in peace. We've lost a few of these great actors.
Yeah, gone too soon. But yeah.
So number 8, Paul, do you want to go for that one, or have you got more to say about the Joker?
No, I was just going to say, like, just as his character was so unpredictable and just so menacing. But yeah, I seem to say menacing in these reviews a lot. I can't even.
You just see him walking away from the hospital, don't you?
Yep, in that cute wee nurse's uniform.
Yes, definitely suits him. So, Paul, you're up for number 8.
Number 8 is The Family from The Strangers. Have you seen that?
I've not seen The Family from The Strangers. No,
it's not called the. It's not called.
No, I didn't think that's what it was called. Is it called The Strangers?
It's called The Strangers. Yeah.
No, I've not seen that. No.
It's basically like a home invasion film, and it's like a family, and they all have these like masks. Like the dad's got like a kind of.
Is this new?
It's a few years old.
Right, there
was a sequel a few years ago. I think maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, called The Strangers Pray at Night, and yeah, I would say them because it's like a home invasion movie, and they've all got these different masks, but they never speak or anything, and they just basically try and murder like these different this family or these certain people in the different movies, and yeah, they're a really scary bunch when they get together. So I would say number 8 for The Strangers.
Cool. Right. I don't know if it's riding on a wave at the moment. I went for Jack Torrance at number 8.
Oh.
I don't think there's many more iconic movie villains than Jack Torrance, and I don't know if it is just because we've watched The Shining recently, but you must admit he's got some fantastic character moments, memorable lines and scenes, and it isn't the nicest of guys.
Nope, definitely not. And like you're saying, I think Jack Nicholson just brings the character to life with his portrayal of him. But yeah, he's definitely his descent into madness does bring out a villainous side in him.
Are you going to accept that as a submission from me?
Well, yes, because it's somewhere on my list too.
Oh, spoilers, Paul. How would you do that?
Sorry.
You ruined the ranking. Right, so I'm up for number 7, and I definitely wanted to include at least one Harry Potter character in here.
Shock.
But it might not be who you expect. Who do you think I put?
Well, I was going to say Voldemort until you said that, so I'm going to say Thingy's dad. What's his name? Oh, God, Malfoy's dad.
Nope. I actually went because this character is actually in a lot of places hated more than Voldemort. I've actually went for Dolores Umbridge, the Pink Lady herself, who is a bit of a tyrant and makes children write things on their hands in blood.
Oh, is that the one? Oh, right, yeah, is that the one she makes them write and it scratches into their hands?
Yeah, and she's appointed by the ministry, and she just turns the school. She like sacks some of the teachers. She invents all these rules. She's very kind of wizard racist and hates anyone who's not like a full blood wizard and anyone who's non-human. So I thought she was fantastic and really well played by Imelda Staunton, who's going to play the Queen in the new season of The Crown.
Oh, very nice. I don't remember much of Harry Potter movies, but I remember that bit, and I remember thinking, God, yeah. she needs to get somebody needs to disappear her from one of these spells.
She is she's pretty awful, so I think she is pretty deserving of a number 7 slot. I think she's probably the best villain. Special shout out to someone who's not on my special shout out list. Bellatrix Lestrange was also a great character, played by Helena Bonham Carter.
Oh yeah, I remember her as well. Yeah, but she was quite good.
We'll stick with Dolores Umbridge in number 7.
So number 7 for me was, I actually put the Overlook Hotel / Jack Torrance.
Okay, the hotel. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think that is it was like a conduit of evil, and just because I think in the Doctor Sleep they were talking about it's just a place of evil, where the Shining, when Danny went there, and all the ghosts started feeding off it, and I think it just becomes such an eerie place, and I think just Overlook Hotel and all its inhabitants, ghost-wise, I would say it's pretty iconic and just pretty evil in my book.
That's a good shout, having the hotel instead of Jack. Cool, so Paul, it's you for number 6 then.
Number 6, I have put The Collector.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen that either. I hadn't seen it until maybe a couple of years ago.
Is that the character, The Collector?
Yeah, the character is actually called The Collector. So
from what?
It's just called The Collector.
The character's called The Collector from the film The Collector?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. No, I've not seen that.
It's basically a masked man, and he goes into a house and like he collects people, but at the same time he tortures the families and stuff, and baby traps the houses. And I think if you're ever looking for like a bit of a gore fest / horror, I'd maybe give that a bash. It's got quite a few good actors as well in it. There's an actor that's in The Dark Knight. I think it's Bane's right hand man. He's actually the main man in this. But yeah, it's something I'd never actually heard of. But I think it's quite a cult-y film. There's actually The Collector, and then it's got a sequel called, I think it's called The Collection, which I didn't like as much. And then the third movie got cancelled, but I was really looking forward to it coming out. But yeah, I would say The Collector number 6 because he doesn't say anything in the movies, and you don't know why he's doing it really, but he's just going around like torturing people, setting all these horrible traps. Like they would give Saw a run for his money with some of the Jigsaw a run for his money with some of his ingenious traps that he's got. And yeah, number 6 for me, The Collector.
You need to leave me a list of these. At first, I thought you were talking about The Collector from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, Benicio del Toro. He's terrifying.
Yeah. Okay, so my number 6, and I don't find I often get scared by films, and it's the older version I'm talking about, not the newer, more rubbish versions. I went for Pennywise the Clown from It.
Ah, yes.
Because I don't know, have you seen like the original?
I've not seen the original yet with Tim Curry.
I don't like the modern ones, but see Pennywise in the original, it's absolutely terrifying, and I'd strongly encourage you to watch it.
Right, so number 6 on your list is the old Pennywise.
Yeah, Pennywise from like the first It film.
Ah, right, okay, got you.
I think it's absolutely terrifying, and as I said, I would strongly encourage you to watch it.
Yeah, I was listening to some people talk about it. I think it was on the Wheel of Horror podcast, and they were saying that the old Pennywise is a lot creepier.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The first one, and then the newer one, but the newer one is more brutal than the old one.
I enjoyed the older one better, I would say. So there's one for you to check out.
Aye, well, I need to binge that some other point. I've got a few binges on the go now.
Yep, Clone Wars.
Almost done. Then on to Rebels.
You did number 6 first, didn't you?
I did, yes. So, number 5.
It's me for number 5. So my number 5 was your number 9 or 8, whatever one it was. I went for the Joker from The Dark Knight as well.
No, right, okay, yeah.
For fifth place.
So what made him sort of high up on your list?
He's definitely the best Batman villain, but he's also one of the best kind of superhero movie villains there are, and just such an iconic performance. And I think his tragic death also, I think it made the performance more special because it was one of his, or was it his last performance, or it was definitely, I think it was one of his last.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the last because definitely was.
Yeah, and just the iconic scenes, particularly the one in the hospital. That's the one that always kind of stands out. And I enjoy the Christopher Nolan Batman films, and I'm looking forward to seeing the new one at the weekend. I'm not a massive Batman fan, but the Joker is one of the characters that just comes to mind first of all when you're thinking of iconic villains.
Yeah, except the Suicide Squad Joker. We don't want to talk about
him. Jared Leto, was it?
Yeah, aye. He's just weird, but that's segueing out of this top 10.
Cool. So, Paul, you're up for. So that's my laptop telling me I've got low battery. I had it on mute earlier, but I couldn't hear you. Remember? So, Paul, you're up for number 4 then. No, is it? Yeah.
Yes, number 4.
No, wait. No, this is your number 5, isn't it?
Oh yeah, number 5. Yes. So I went for Ghostface in the Scream movies.
Yeah, I've still never seen a Scream movie. I'm not doing very well with yours.
Oh God, so I can't really say much about this.
I did plan to binge them and then go see the new one, remember? But then I couldn't find the first 3 online, and I don't use these dodgy boxes that you use.
Don't know what you're talking about.
We'll edit that out.
So yeah, so yeah, I've went for Ghostface because he's not scary at all, and he's not a very proficient killer. But well, you see it when you go see them. Like he does all these phone calls, and I think the voices.
Go see them, and they're going to re-release them all in the cinema for me to go see.
Hey, you never know. Remastered.
Yeah.
Special edition. Yeah, I just think the way he kind of stalks his victims, I like him actually try to kill the main characters. You'll find that he's bollocks at it. I mean, he's terrible at it.
I may not have seen Scream, Paul, but you might remember I used to own a Scream mask back from our childhood for Halloween.
Oh yeah, so yeah, he's probably as good trying to kill the main characters as probably you were trying to kill everybody else at Halloween.
Well, I can just confirm that I never tried to do that. So,
and I don't own a Dudley Fire Stick.
Yes, we've all got secrets. So that was number 5. So Paul, you're first up for number 4.
Number 4, I went from Michael Myers from the Halloween franchise.
I've not seen that either.
Don't you even movie, man? Jesus.
Yeah, although I did watch the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the weekend, and it was absolutely horrendous.
Well, watch the original Halloween.
I don't really mind if you spoil things, but I am getting more into my horror these days with our recent reviews, so I might end up watching these things.
Yeah, I'd watch the old Halloween because it's a kind of a classic. But
make me lift. This is why Seismic Cinema works, Paul, because we'll get some contrasting views and experiences when it comes to movies and TV.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely check it out because obviously new Halloween movies are coming out as well. They're not remakes; they're what are they called? Resequels or something.
They're better than the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre because that was so bad.
They are, but they're not much better. But they are. They've got more of a plot.
It's so bad. Anyway, I digress. So Michael Myers.
Michael Myers for number 4.
Right. My number 4, I'm going to get a lot of abuse for, but I've got reasons.
I'm listening.
Number 4, I went for Darth Vader.
Dun, dun, dun.
So there's a few lines of thought here.
Look, you don't need to defend yourself. You don't need
No,
to.
that's the
You've got
point.
the
I need
same
to explain my
opinion.
choices. At one point, he would have been absolutely top, but they went under the mask, so to speak, of Vader so much, and the prequels and the Clone Wars. Although they often consider Darth Vader and Anakin different characters, they're not. They're the same person. And to me, he's more of a tragic character than a villain. But his villainous aspects before he unraveled, like from the original trilogy, cements his place in my kind of top five. But I just can't consider Vader a pure villain anymore. Do you get where I'm coming from there?
But he killed the younglings.
Answer my question. Do you get where I'm coming from? And that he's just been so humanized with a lot of the content that I can't just view him as a pure villain anymore.
I see where you're coming from, but at the end of the day, he killed loads of children. He a villain. He bad.
Yeah, he's on the list, but I couldn't put him top because I feel like he's not a pure villain.
It's okay. I shall respect your
choice. Right. So what's your number 4 then? Oh no, that was your number 4, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're on to your number 3 now.
I'm on to my number 3. But my number 3 I've picked because they are very complex. They've got a great presence, and they're very foreboding, and you worry about them, but you also understand them a wee bit because #Thanos was right.
Excuse me?
So yeah, I picked Thanos. I think he's definitely the best villain in the MCU. He has reasons, no matter how kind of mental they are, about why he does things. I think he can mix it with the best of the Avengers, and I still haven't recovered from them taking him out in the first 5 minutes of Endgame. But anyway, they use time travel and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, I picked Thanos.
Interesting. I did like Thanos, but I don't know. I didn't find him. I just thought he was very misguided on what he was like, taking out half the universe. Why not just make double the resources with your fancy dancy Infinity Gauntlet?
Yeah, it's a fair point. But to me, like when I think of the MCU, he is the standout for me anyway.
Yeah, he's the iconic kind of bad guy for the franchise, isn't he, so far? So, but
yeah,
there might be more to replace him in the next phases coming, hopefully.
Possibly. So what's your number 3?
So my number 3 is probably someone along the same lines as you, but totally different. I went for a character called General Hummel in the movie called The Rock. Have you seen that? It's an older film. It's an older action film with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery.
I've not seen The Rock, no.
So it's a military kind of film, but basically he's played by Ed Harris, and General Hummel.
Ed Harris, that name sounds familiar.
It's in loads of films. I can't even think of any right now off the top of my head, but he's in loads and loads of films. But basically, he's the villain of the movie. He's a general that goes rogue, and he takes over Alcatraz with loads of chemical rockets, with I think a platoon of rogue marines as well, and he's threatening to fire the rockets onto San Francisco unless he gets paid. I can't remember how much it is, but basically it's like $1 million for every family of every man that's died under his command through all the different conflicts.
I see.
So he's he is the bad guy of the film, but he's doing it for kind of all the right reasons.
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to it, he's not willing to fire the rockets. Spoilers if you've not seen it. He's not willing to fire the rockets. So it shows he's still he's still a good guy. But yeah, he's quite a complex character because you can tell he's just full of honor, full of integrity, but he's doing this terrible thing of kidnapping all these tourists on Alcatraz and holding the city a hostage kind of thing. But yeah, I would say he was the main. He's probably the main villain of it, but he's also doing it for the right reasons. So I put him high on my list because he was kind of a complex kind of bad guy. He's not your kind of run of the mill stabby killer, or you're run of the mill just doing things for this like the sake of it kind of thing.
You went a lot more niche than me in this podcast.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's interesting. I looked up the first film in his Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia. He was in the Firm, the Tom Cruise legal thriller that I watched last year at one point. He's in that.
And he's a German sniper at Enemy at the Gates. I remember that as well.
Just a great film, Paul. If you might have seen it. A Few Good Men.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I've not seen the whole thing though.
Give it a watch. It's a great film.
No worries.
They reference it. They reference it in Suits all the time. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. I remember the bit.
I love your impressions in these podcasts. They're so on point.
Right. So I went first for number 3. So Paul, you're first for number 2.
Right. I have gone for The Thing from the movie The Thing.
You like films that have names for the film and the character, don't you?
Yeah, makes it easier to remember. Yeah, so I think we definitely need to watch this or review it at some point because I really like this movie.
Right. Where's it on?
I'm not going to tell you much about it, but basically, like the main theme of it is like paranoia. And when I watched this as a wee kid, and
is that why you turned out the way you did?
Yeah, it's just a paranoid mess. The special effects, the practical effects on it, and the acting as well, but mostly it's the practical effects and even the set as well. Like everything just makes it feel so like claustrophobic, and it's a really kind of masterclass film to watch. So I think we should watch it at some point. But yeah, that's my number 2, The Thing from The Thing.
Cool. My number 2, and I did take me quite a lot of time to do these placements, and again, they probably change next time I do them. I went for Mr. Sheev Palpatine. Because although Vader's the not quite an anti-hero, but you have your sympathies for him at times. Palpatine's just pure evil and a genius at that. And the version I wrote down was Return of the Jedi. That's like the most iconic version for me. I didn't quite like the look of him in Revenge of the Sith. I thought it was maybe a wee bit. Maybe it's because you see him with his hood down. It's maybe a wee bit different, but he's just clever. He's just always 2 steps ahead of everybody. We won't talk about his appearance in The Rise of Skywalker because that was somehow Palpatine has returned. Some of the worst writing I've ever heard. But Palpatine in Return of the Jedi, and to a lesser extent Revenge of the Sith, is up there with the most iconic villains. Apart from the Battlefront where he just kind of floats about. It's weird.
Did I just hear you do a bit of sequel bashing now?
Just I like a lot of aspects of the sequels, but I won't deny the writing's bad, particularly the Palpatine bit, because they could never ruin Palpatine. He's that great a character, but
yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
Big shout out to Ian McDiarmid, who played it really well.
Yes, we still love you. He's not watching, so why we can.
You never know. He may be one of the 20 that sometimes watch our
Yes, thank you to our 20, by the way.
Yeah.
The famous 20. Right, so that's my number 2. So I think I might know who your number 1 is. You probably don't know who my number 1 is now, actually.
I'm going to say you're... All right, okay. Do you want to guess? No? Okay.
Okay, I think yours is Vader, because it'd be a bit weird if you didn't put him in your top 10 at all.
Why? I'm not some sort of puppet that conforms to society and thinks Vader should be number 1.
Answer the question, and is it Vader?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mainly put it on the basis of when I was a wee kid, he was like the iconic bad guy. He was like the one that everybody feared. he's just got the coolest voice ever, and yeah, I just think he just over my life wise, he's probably most iconic. Like as soon as we said villains, my head went to Vader, kind of thing.
It did for me too, but when I thought about it, just because we know so much about Anakin now, we've seen so much of him that I found it hard to put him like number one.
Yeah, I think
they looked at him a bit as a villain.
Yeah, like he's not the scariest. He's not like
He's scary though.
He is quite scary, but he's not the scariest. He's not the most unstoppable. He's not like all these different things. He's just the most iconic for me. So that's why he got up to number one for me. What about you? Number one.
My number one in it. This isn't really a spoiler because even if you've not seen the film, you're aware of this. You've not seen Spider-Man: No Way Home, but it kind of clinched something for me that the Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, is absolutely fantastic, and you'll know he's in this film because you've heard about it or seen in the trailer. But also in the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man, I think Norman Osborn / Green Goblin is fantastic. Just his acting going between the two different characters and the laugh. I just think he's one that immediately came to mind for me.
Yeah, he plays deranged very well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not on your list actually.
To be fair, I've wrote down a couple of things and then I've actually realised I've not put them on. So
yeah. So I think the Green Goblin's up there with one of the best movie villains.
You know what? I like that because I remember watching the first Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and I thought he was a really good bad guy as well. So yeah, I like that.
He's aged well. So I've got a wee list of honourable mentions, Paul. Will we share them?
Yep, on you go, bud. Do you want to do one and I'll do one, or
yeah? How many have you got?
I've only got 1, 2, 3. Oh, I've only got 3. I thought I had more. Never mind.
I've got 9. Well, I won't describe them or anything. I'll just batter through them, and then you can share yours at the end.
Sure, on you go.
Right, number 1, you will find this one funny, but thing is from my childhood. Cruella de Vil from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. No, wrong film. 101 Dalmatians.
Oh, so almost perfect. Almost perfect.
What, when I got it wrong?
Yep.
But I remember her being absolutely horrific when I was a kid. I've got 2 from Toy Story, actually, that I wanted to put in but didn't put in. Lotso from Toy Story 3.
Yep.
The bear. But then I thought he was a wee bit too much of a sympathetic villain when you hear his backstory. Sid would have been a good shout. I put Stinky Pete. I thought he was really kind of cold and cruel.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
This guy could have made it, but is a wee bit too much of a nice guy sometimes. Magneto. Ian McKellen's Magneto.
Oh, Ian McKellen. I was going to say, is it Ian McKellen or Michael Fassbender?
This character, if he was in more films, would have probably clinched it. Darth Maul. But developed more in the Clone Wars and Rebels, but if they've been in actual films more. One that I just remember being terrified of a kid, the Danny DeVito's Penguin.
You're terrified,
I was terrified of him when I was a kid. So
that's such a weird wee whimsical film as well.
Yeah, I know. Quite an underrated villain and not really rated that highly. I really liked Ultron from Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
I thought he was quite menacing. Second last one I went for was President Snow from the Hunger Games film.
Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty kind of cold and calculating and kind of good tactics. And the last one, why can't I read what that says?
Because your handwriting is terrible.
Yeah, Lucius Malfoy, who you mentioned earlier, actually.
Oh, I thought you'd had Voldemort somewhere on there.
No, I don't rate film Voldemort. I think Ray Fiennes a good actor, but I don't think the character great in the film. Plus, Voldemort can't even take over the high school, so he's not actually that great about. Okay. Anyway, what was your 3?
My 3, I actually meant to put this in somewhere in my top 10, so I don't know how I managed to. I've scribbled it out so many times and redone it. I put the shark from Jaws.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's just a looming presence throughout the whole film.
Yeah, great
film. And fun fact, Steven Spielberg nicknamed him Bruce.
Bruce the Shark. Yeah, I actually knew that.
After his lawyer, Bruce Raymer. But anyway, look at me. My second one was the T-1000 from Terminator 2, played by Robert Patrick. Have you seen Terminator?
I want to say yes, but no. I do have a list of loads of things I want to watch, so I'm working on it.
Yeah, so that one. And then Silva from Skyfall. I think it's Javier Bardem that plays him.
Right, okay.
I put him.
I've lost track. I've seen like a lot of James Bond films, but I actually lose track of. They all kind of merge into one for me. So I sometimes forget which ones I've seen and which ones I haven't.
If you've seen a train flying through a tunnel wall, then that's Skyfall.
That sounds like every single James Bond film.
Yeah, true.
Right, so that's us done our top 10 movie villains, and it was quite an interesting. So just quickly, so mine was Jordan Belfort, Scar, Jack Torrance, Dolores Umbridge, Pennywise, the Joker from The Dark Knight, Darth Vader, Thanos, Palpatine from Return of the Jedi, and the Green Goblin.
And my top 10 were. Let's drop my phone there. My top 10 were Hans Gruber from the Die Hard franchise, Heath Ledger's Joker from The Dark Knight, The Strangers from The Strangers, The Overlook Hotel / Jack Torrance from The Shining, The Collector from the Collector series, Ghostface from the Scream series, Michael Myers from the Halloween series, General Hummel from the movie The Rock, The Thing from The Thing, and Darth Vader from the Star Wars franchise.
Very nice. So I hope everyone enjoyed listening to our top 10 movie villains. And if you didn't, you're also one of the villains and you'll be on our next list. So just to finish off,
Colin,
what's wrong?
Honorable mention, Vladimir Putin.
No, you just
politicize the podcast.
We'll move on from that. So just to remind you where you can find us, we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also find our podcast on the likes of Spotify, Good Pods, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and we've also got our increasingly less shiny YouTube channel. And after criticising Paul's attempt to this the last time, I've probably forgotten something there. So that was our top 10 movie villains. Our next review that will be coming up will be the review of the new Batman film. And then it's my turn to do our next ranking podcast, come up with the idea. I've already decided we're going to look at the top 10 movie and TV soundtracks. So we're each going to separately come up with our suggestions like we did here and compare them. So hopefully you'll check that podcast and video out as well. So we're Seismic Cinema. We believe in the power of escapism. This helped us escape reality for another 30 minutes or so. And I was joined by Paul as always.
Yep, been a pleasure as always. And we hope to see you soon.